Thank you, Mr. President. I move to suspend the regular order of business to take up and consider at this time Senate Bill 31. Senators, the Life of the Mother Act. Many members of this body are co-authors or joint authors on this bill, and it's a subject matter that we're all too familiar with. As difficult and as divisive as right to life, as abortion issues can be for us, for all Americans, for all Texans, one thing that I think we all agree on is that the life of the mother must be protected. In those rare situations where the life of the mother is at risk, in those situations, Texas...
Members, can we have a little quiet on the floor and off the floor, please? Thank you. Continue.
Thank you, Mr. President. In those rare situations, when the life of the mother is at risk, when she's in jeopardy, Texas law has always recognized that exception. Recently, after the heartbeat law, after Roe...
Excuse me, Senator Middleton, Senator West, can you please get out of the way of his presentation? Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. In the last few years, after the heartbeat law and after Roe versus Wade, when physicians in hospitals were presented with this situation more frequently, questions began to arise. Now, what do we know? We do know, based on abortion reporting statutes, that since the heartbeat law, there have been 150 plus cases where a doctor performed an abortion to save the life of the mother. And those are tragic situations. We don't want to gloss over that. A mom wants to have a baby, she's pregnant, and then there's a complication. Her life is at risk. And there are over 150 cases we know about since the heartbeat law where the physician in that case does do an abortion to save the life of the mother. So that tells us that in most cases, doctors and hospitals are following the law, and moms in those hard situations are being treated. We also know from witnesses that have testified before committees in the House and Senate, from folks we've heard from, and from reports in the media, we know there are cases where moms facing situations where they should be treated have been denied treatment. We've read about cases where a mother is dealing with an ectopic pregnancy. Now, everybody on this body knows that the definition of abortion in Texas specifically excludes ectopic pregnancies, and that has been in the code for decades. So this is something that doctors, we thought understood, but Section 245 of the Health and Safety Code, the definition says removal of an ectopic pregnancy is not an abortion. So no pro-life law has any effect. Nothing there should keep a doctor from treating an ectopic pregnancy. Dr. Campbell's told us about this from her own as a physician and the things that she sees. And so, sadly, we've read about some cases where doctors refuse to treat ectopic pregnancies or miscarriages. There have been a couple of tragic cases we've read about where a mom was miscarrying, and clearly under Texas law, her life was at risk. She should have been treated, and she was not. So because of cases like that, we all thought it important that the law be crystal clear. We don't want to have any reason for hesitation, and we want to make sure that doctors are trained on what the law is. So the bill before you goes through the abortion statutes in Texas, and it completely harmonizes the language that describes the medical emergency exception. It'll be consistent in every statute, so there's no question. And more importantly, the heart of the bill is a requirement of training so that every physician that deals with obstetrics, every physician whose practice may come into those areas must receive this training on condition of receiving or renewing a medical license. And because sometimes we know it's lawyers, maybe hyper-cautious lawyers or lawyers for whatever reason, sometimes it's the lawyers not letting the doctors do the care that the standard of care would require. There's also training for lawyers in this bill. A lot of details in Senate Bill 31 I'd be pleased to go through, but those are the broad concepts which you're familiar with. And so with that, thanking everyone for their work on this bill as we move forward, I move suspension of the regular order.